Hey guys, it's been a little while since I posted a video. I am an emerging tech freelance writer, really active on Substack. And my Substack has been in existence around 14 months now. And I just wanted to report to you because April was crazy busy and I made some significant progress. So what happened in April is Substack in their app, they launched a new feature called Notes. And Notes enabled you as a writer to really get in touch with what other writers are saying and even interact a little bit with their readers. And so this gave me a little bit of a free reader bump that sort of translated into some paid subscriptions. And I just wanted to give more of the picture of how 2023 is looking like it's accelerating for me much faster than my first year on Substack, where I was really flat. I wasn't seeing much product market growth. And I'm in the technology category, which isn't very popular yet on Substack. But what happened is in November, ChatGPT came out last year. And so there's been this whole wave of newsletters, even some of them just fake synthetic content, ChatGPT style content. Anyways, I'm surrounded by all these AI newsletters, more data engineering newsletters, and I've been recommending them more. And approximately 30 to 35% of those will recommend me back. So I'm compounding my free peer-to-peer recommendation traffic on Substack in my second year, and that seems to be making a little bit of a difference on my bottom lines, especially since Substack Boost, which is optimizing the conversion optimization and the lifetime customer retention of my readers. So I'm able to retain after a year around 70 to 75% of my readers who subscribe. And that's actually, for me, that's actually a pretty healthy figure if my growth is fast enough, right? So I'm maybe gaining 100 free readers every day, which is a satisfactory trajectory for me, even with my very low conversion rates, which are considerably, guys, under 2%. I'm not even kidding. So a newsletter like mine can scale in a macro niche where the total addressable market's a little bit larger simply because I have that growth and scale. And I wanted to show you a little bit the inside view of what this looks like on a daily basis. I'm checking these stats. So let me share my screen and just show you what exactly I'm going through. All right, so I'm clicking on share. Hopefully you can see this. Let me just change the place where this header thing is. Anyways, all right, so this is my newsletter. My flagship newsletter is AI Supremacy. I cover a number of topics in emerging technology. So a lot to do with artificial intelligence, quantum computing, the venture capital aspects, the startups, and all this sort of is like a package, right? Because I'm so into this stuff I'm writing every day. I'm not just sending a weekly newsletter, or I don't have a podcast. So I'm really blogging in an old school sort of way, a lot of news curation, and obviously some original independent ideas as well, some op-eds on topics that you won't really find elsewhere that often. Even though there's hundreds of AI newsletters now, I sort of have my own way of doing it that's actually rather unique. So on AI supremacy, as I've said, I've been doing this for 16 months actually, right? Because it's a year plus 4 months. April is over, so 16 months in, almost a year and a half. And I have 18,000 free readers, and just look at my gross annual revenue, right? So this isn't really accurate because it's really a revolving door. So I'm actually making more per month than this would suggest. Anyways, guys, I just want to show you the kind of April that I had, right? So at the beginning of March, look at this trajectory. If you don't believe paid subscriptions can scale on Substack, you are out of your mind. March 1st, I had 21,000 in annual recurring revenue, okay? 2 months later, I'm up to 27,400. So this means my growth is actually pretty optimal. And so I want to show you the free subscribers that I gained in April. And you're kind of going to notice this is when Substack Notes started. So I was at 15,000 at just 3 weeks ago, basically, right? Now I'm up to 18,000. So I basically gained 2,500 free readers in a very short span when Substack launched their notes feature in their app. And it's not a Twitter killer, it's not a Twitter clone, it's currently mostly peer-to-peer and sharing a little bit of the interactions with their hardcore readers who are actually using the Substack app. So I want to give you the proof of the pudding. So my AI Supremacy newsletter just in April gave me $3,786 Canadian. So this is after the 10% to Substack and the 3 to 5% to Stripe and the conversion of American dollars to Canadian. It's not optimal. I'm living in Taiwan. This is enough money for me to live. This is enough money to cover at least my basic food and rent and support my young family. So here I am on my second year on Substack, pretty well breaking even, let's say. If we're gonna be generous, let's just say I'm breaking even. I just did my taxes for last year. I barely made any money last year. So consider the compounding of the newsletter has to basically win back all the funds that I squandered because I was so risk-friendly to do this crazy experiment on Substack. And thankfully, this is working out. My AI newsletter is a top 35 and paid in the technology category on Substack. I don't know, that's pretty good growth for me. I'm not bragging, but I'm pretty satisfied with how Substack has treated me and the Substack Boost product in particular. They acquired a company called Yem around October, let's say, of last year. So my newsletter scaled just as they acquired Substack Boost. So Substack Boost is the mechanism, the backend mechanism of Substack's ability to drive paid subscriptions. They have all sorts of campaigns, and importantly, they have the churn reduction, which is the retention of your best readers, right? So that's all that matters. You're just trying to find those 1,000 true fans. I am 30% to that goal, and I'm just at the beginning of my second year. So I just want you to have some context. Obviously, not everyone's going to have these results, and obviously there's a lot of people that have better results than I do, but this is just me sharing in public where I'm at. So in addition to the Substack revenue, I'm also experimenting a little bit with sponsored ads, and I'm really not getting into it much, but I'll just show you my Stripe. This is from a solution I use called Paved. So Paved, they take 30%, but you basically can have that flat fee charge. You charge what you think it's worth. Here's the payment from Paved, $500 for basically, I don't know, was that one ad? Is that two ads? It's really, I'm just dipping my toes into this. These are just brands that see my audience and say, oh, there is alignment with our brand. Let's try this guy out. And so I haven't gotten any repeat customers yet. It's a little bit of an experiment on my side as well, because Substack and LinkedIn, the newsletters where I'm most active, aren't very well integrated with the advertising links and so forth. So I have other newsletters, like I mentioned, that focus on emerging tech. The one that's really showing a little bit of potential is the quantum computing one. Here I have 29 paid subscribers, but it's $18 a month. So that ends up to being a little bit over $4,000 a year. So overall, all these different newsletters have around 400 paid subscribers. So while my main gig is my AI supremacy one, I'm actually diversifying the paid model around with my other newsletters, right? I have one on stocks, I have one on venture capital, I have two other newsletters on different aspects of artificial intelligence, the education side, the startup side, the venture capital side. I basically have my bases covered, so I'm able to curate and share what's going on in emerging tech to my heart's content. And I'm able to do it basically at an entry-level journalist income, right? Obviously, if I was living in the States or back in Canada, this would hardly be possible. But because I moved to Asia as a digital nomad, helping my wife with her parents' health and everything. I'm able to afford this. I'm able to grow a different kind of media business, a different kind of startup, a different kind of solo entrepreneur journey. So that's what I'm here doing. The point is, I'm able to write about the things that I want to write about, right? So this AI supremacy is giving me a little bit of hope. It's been really hard. The first 12 months were basically very slow. I mean, let's go to the all-time, and I'll show you the list. So my list grew a lot faster in 2023 on the back of Substack recommendations, Substack Boost, and all these other features. So Notes is also further accelerating my growth. Because my conversion rate's still so low, I need that growth. I need that that hot streak of having all these recommendations compounding, stacking on one another. I'm doing the notes, I'm doing the Substack chat, I'm doing all the little things that Substack wants me to do, and I'm doing it to the best of my ability as a full-time job. And that's how I'm able to make well over 4,000 or 5,000 a month now. Okay, that was a good month. That was April. Not all months are going to be like that. But overall, you see my trajectory is improving. Maybe 20K roughly in my first year. I'm hoping for at least 40 or 50K now in my second year. And you see, this doesn't have a ceiling. It just keeps compounding as you're growing your thought leadership, you're growing your presence. I don't go viral on Twitter or LinkedIn. I barely get traffic from those places, guys. So I'm so dependent now, and it scares me actually, on this platform called Substack, which is relatively new, especially in my technology category. And it's slow going, but I'm glad to see that there's some momentum. There's a lot of momentum. Listen, I'm in the top 35 in this entire category of technology. That covers product, startup, marketing, AI, all sorts of things are just lumped in there because no one started a Substack in these categories. So I'm like late to the party and yet an early pioneer at the same time. It's absurd. And it's absurd now how many AI newsletters there are. I'm seeing probably 10 to 20 every week. There's dozens of new newsletters every week in my field. I just happen to be a little bit further along. I started a little bit sooner. I scaled a little bit faster. That's all there is to it. And there's newsletters on Beehive that are far more advanced than me, right? I'm not even in the top 10. I'm maybe in the top 20 or 30 in the AI category just since November of last year. So think about that. This entire category is going viral. I don't write about open AI or ChatGPT or all these prompting tools, tricks, and clicks. I'm not about that. I'm trying to cover real news across the world, not just in AI, but its impact on society and civilization. I'm writing now more about AI regulation and AI risk. I'm writing more now about the industry and the future. That's what really keeps me up at night. So that's what I'm covering. And I'm doing so at an incredible pace. I'm writing 4 or 5 articles a week just for this newsletter. That's not counting my other newsletters. So I'm grinding and I'm hustling and I'm probably working too much. I'm not taking the time to optimize the advertising. I'm not taking the time to properly collaborate with my peers. I'm just establishing my niche. I'm just establishing a foundation and a foothold. And somehow Substack has allowed me to do that, right? And I don't even know if that's on the strength of my writing or my content, right? I'd like to think so. I'd like to think, oh, this is me, the self-made content creator. I mean, I do have a winning record in my past on things like LinkedIn Pulse or Medium way back when, like 5 years ago. This is a new platform. This is Substack. It's a totally different audience. My audience isn't even on here. So the Substack network is full of all these cultural and political readers. They don't, for the most part, care about artificial intelligence. I mean, maybe they do now, right? Maybe they do now. Maybe that's the point. Anyways, I've optimized the recommendations. I'm using chat and notes better than ever before. And I had a good April because of the notes launch. And it significantly impacted my revenue. It's not like I'm growing that fast, right? So if I go into stats, bear with me. I click on subscriber report. Okay, here we are. So 15% growth in the past month, and I'm already 16 months in. That's an acceptable margin of growth, right? That's not incredible, but that's like if that keeps compounding, I'll be okay. I'll be okay maybe even in 2024 sometime, I'll be okay. Subscriber retention, oh, it's down to 73%. Not good. I would have much preferred that to be over 75%. So who the heck am I reaching? I'm reaching California, New York, Texas, and Florida. That's to be expected. The main point is, who am I reaching globally? And here's the problem. Substack is mostly US based. So 36% of my audience is just from the United States. That's not the audience I want. I want the young people, the entrepreneurs of the next generation, the Indias and Brazils and Indonesias of the world, and the Nigerias, the Africans. I want to reach someone that can take AI to the next level, have a startup. So anyways, it's understandable Substack is skewed to Western countries. Wow, I have more people reading me from the UK than my home country of Canada? That's surprising. India, 10%. Not bad. That's a start. My point being, Substack is scalable for paid subscriptions. And if I could just have another stream of revenue with the sponsored ads in moderation, high quality ads aligned with my brand, high quality, very minimalistic at the top, my newsletter, not invasive, not detrimental to the reading experience, not toxic in the least, another revenue source for me. So Substack is really focused on paid subscriptions to the exclusion of everything else. I think that's a mistake. It's going to be very hard for it to compete with Beehive and others if it continues to do that. But it's trying to prove that paid subscriptions are enough. Yes, it's a minimal viable product. It's an MVP. But for the creator, you need to diversify your revenue. I was stupid to do just paid subscriptions in my first year. I didn't know what I was doing. Don't make the same mistakes as me. Anyways, guys, I hope this is helpful to someone out there. I'm now able, after 16 months, to basically break even on this new media startup where I'm covering emerging tech. I'm doing curation and original op-eds, mostly curation, right? This isn't, I'm not a trained journalist. This is not groundbreaking work. I like to think so. I like to think what I'm doing has some meta value to someone out there. To the conversations on my Substack chat are really going off. My experimentation with notes was pretty positive. All said, it was pretty positive. My acceleration of reaching free readers within this network, it's probably 70% of all of my traffic are just mingling with the peers and their readers and Substacks, onboarding of free readers at the beginning of your newsletter, recommending others who are writing about the same topics. You want to be recommending people at the same stage of growth as you, so you're giving a win-win situation and having the maximum ROI. Because it's those new newsletters like me and all these others that are growing the fastest, right? Those are the ones where the traffic is the most valuable. So I've hooked into this trend of AI, come what may, and my coverage definitely is having some product market fit. I'm not saying 300 subscribers is a lot. I'm only charging $8 a month for all of this content. I'm bombarding them with too much content, but that's my value proposition, right? If they're as passionate about the topic of emerging technologies as I am, they will pay 50 cents for an article. And so that's the way I see it. Maybe they get too much from me and they churn. That is okay. I'm allowed as a creator to handle my business and my optimization in the way that I feel is best. My readers, of course, are a priority. I'm always trying to improve the quality, but ultimately, I am very attached to a certain product model, right? And maybe that's a mistake, right? Maybe I should be more audience centric, but this is the format I've chosen: multi newsletters, high frequency, op-eds with curation. And for whatever it's worth, I'm seeing some beginnings of traction. And you can go back in my old videos and you can see me crying and wondering and anxious and whatever. I am happy. I am happy with this provider. Substack, they're only taking 10%. Can you imagine where it'd be if they were taking more than 10%? I would not be breaking even. I would have quit already. So as much as I'm studying the competitors, ConvertKit is working on a recommendation feature. Sparkloop has a growing recommendation network. And Beehive is going into this weird pay to win with their Boosts platform, where they're basically allowing creators to sell subscribers to each other. Yikes, I don't know. Newsletters on drugs, they say. Oh, I don't know. Doesn't appeal to me that much, I have to be honest. But then Substack's ideology is like Medium. Oh, we are anti-ads. No. Be creator-centric, you fools. The creator is what matters, not your ideological leverage. Anyways, guys, I'm just here trying to make a living, to support my family, trying to write about what matters to me. And that's a wrap, right? That's a wrap. I'm not going to bore you to tears with the details. This is just a monthly review. So thanks so much for your support, and you can always ask me questions. I have a creator economy newsletter if you're curious to dive in more into this stuff. So to summarize, I've been on Substack for 16 months, and I'll probably make between 30 and 40,000 Canadian dollars in 2023. And I should have in the area of 500 paid subscriptions. I'll be halfway to my 1,000 true fans by the end of 2023, if all goes according to plan.